Here's to my neighbors and my friends from high school. Here's to the small towns, all American just like you.
Hey guys, this is Brad Allen, three-time world's duck calling champion, owner of Elite Duck Calls. You know, I found my passion for duck hunting at a pretty early age. I started going with my dad when I was 6 years old. My dad was a farmer, and so he was working during the spring, summer. We didn't get to see much of him. He had a lot more free time during the winter, and he loved to duck hunt. And I think that my love for duck hunting grew out of my love for just spending time with my father. He would take me, we'd get to spend time together. We hunted on Cache River, and it was just, you know, those were great memories. And the first time that I went hunting, I still remember the first time I heard a duck call. It really resonated with me. We were in the blind, and there was a gentleman named Philip Nance. He was the duck caller of the group. My dad was actually not a duck caller, but he would do the duck calling. And I remember him blowing the duck call and then hearing ducks that were flying over us that would answer back to him. And I just remember asking my dad, I'm like, my goodness, Dad, you know, Mr. Phillip can talk to the ducks, can't he? And he was like, well, son, I guess he can in a way. And at that point, I was hooked with duck calling, and I was obsessed with it. And that was always my favorite aspect of duck hunting, was the actual calling part. My dad and I, he took me, I guess 1988 was the first time that I actually went and saw the World Championship at Stuttgart. He knew that I loved duck hunting, and I enjoyed blowing that duck call. I'm sure I was driving him crazy, blowing it in the house and everything. And he took me 1988 to go down there and check out the contest when I was a little bit older. And man, I just loved listening to those guys, seeing them compete. But I never really thought about doing it myself. I didn't think I was good enough. Those guys were just awesome, and but I loved sitting out there listening to them and watching the competition until they finally got to the winner. And I loved the festival. Everything about Stuttgart during that time was a lot of fun. So, you know, graduated high school, went to college, and while I was in college, I did a little bit of guiding and got into duck hunting more. I actually met a man that was a world champion. So I thought, you know what, I might just try this. I might try competing once I get out of school. I couldn't do it during college, so I knew I'd get evicted from my apartment. So I had to wait until I graduated where I could find a place where I could actually practice. And it was a pretty long road. There was a lot of learning involved. But, you know, I was really fortunate in that when I decided that I want to learn, I hooked up with a gentleman named Rick Dunn, who's the owner of Echo Duck Calls. You know, Rick had just won the World Championship in 1997, and after watching him win, that was when I was trying to learn, thinking, okay, I'm actually going to do this. And, you know, how fortunate can you be when you're wanting to learn how to do something and your first teacher is the current world champion at what you're trying to learn. And Rick was just very gracious, you know, teaching me how to blow a duck call. You know, took it from scratch, learning that style, and he spent a lot of time with me and taught me how to do this. And I had some other mentors along the way. You know, I learned a lot from Rick. I also learned from a gentleman named Bernie Boyle, who unfortunately has passed away. He's not with us anymore, but he was a world champion and champion of champions. He worked with me a lot. I got to work with Trey Crawford, who was a three-time world champion and champion of champions. I got to know Trey a little later as I was learning and as I was competing, and just like the other gentleman, he's very gracious with his time, helping me, teaching me things about how to blow a duck call, routines, not only competition, but a lot with what you would do hunting. And then I was also blessed to get to be good friends with Butch Richenbach before he passed, and got to know Butch, and we were close friends, and I learned a lot from him. So I always say, you know, I managed to win the world 3 times, but if you had an opportunity to learn from guys like that and you weren't successful with a duck call, then you were a sad case. You know, if you have teachers like that, you're bound to be successful. So it's a great opportunity, and you know, starting Elite Duck Calls, I just get to continue that passion. And you know, we named the company Elite Duck Calls, and to me, what makes someone elite, it's not just that you reach a level where you're good at something, you reach that elite status, but someone who is really an elite caller, I think, is always trying to improve. And that's being elite in anything that you do. Someone that reaches that level, you're always trying to improve, you're always trying to make it better. And that's what we do at Elite Duck Calls. We're always thinking about, what can we do with this call to make it better? We love what we're putting out now, we think it's great, but you never stop trying to get better. We're trying to get better at call design, we're trying to get better at operating a call. Yeah, I've got some world duck calling trophies. I learn something about duck calling every year. I get better every year. A lot of what I learn, the ducks teach me when I'm out there hunting. So it's really great. It's been a great journey, a cool journey to get to here, and every year it's something new, and I enjoy doing this. I love it.